Yo, what is up everyone? Welcome to the Fantasy Football Prodigy channel, and in this video I am going to be setting my lineups across my 3 fantasy football leagues heading into week 12 of the 2020 fantasy football season. And hopefully as I'm setting my lineups across my 3 leagues, you will see me make some start-sit decisions and deal with a bunch of injuries that will hopefully help you heading into week 12 of the season. We have some half PPR, non-PPR, 1 quarterback, 2 quarterback, Dynasty, Redraft, all sorts of good stuff. And we have a lot of tough decisions to make this week. And we're also going to recap what happened last week. So with that being said, let's get into it. So this is the first league right here. This is a 10-team half PPR 2 quarterback league. This is last week's box score. As you can see, I won 103.04 to 102.44. I had Darrell Henderson on Monday Night Football. I needed like barely any points from him, and he barely got it. He had 1.9 points, and that was enough to get me the win, and he almost didn't even get that many points. So I'm very fortunate there. I did end up sitting Melvin Gordon, who had a couple touchdowns against Miami, so that was definitely not ideal. Jared Goff, I sat, and I played Matt Ryan. That obviously did not work out in my favor either. But you know what? We survived. We're still in it. Taking a look at my team right now, we are currently 6-5, 4th out of 10 in the standings. This week, looking at my transactions, I did add Dalton Schultz and drop Logan Thomas for $0 fab dollars. I also actually just put in a bid today to pick up Jimmy Graham and drop Dalton Schultz. I don't know why I didn't just pick up Jimmy Graham in the first place. I just wasn't really thinking. That will be going through after I record this video. So maybe I'll get Jimmy Graham, maybe I won't. I just put in a $0 out of 200 budget bid. So either way, I'm not going to play either of them this week, I don't believe. So that's pretty much all I've been doing for transactions. Gus Edwards got picked up in this league for 17. I put in a $0 bid for him. I kind of wish I would have bid a little bit more. I don't think I would have ever bid that much, 17 out of 200, but I might have, because we're going to take a look at my options here. This is the matchup that I am facing right here. Just a little projection of what my opponent is looking like. And here is the matchup for this week 12 of the 2020 fantasy football season. So let's just start with the quarterback position. We got Kyler Murray and Matt Ryan. So there's a couple things to note here, all right? Kyler Murray is questionable. If he's playing, I'm going to play him unless they come out and say, like, he's hampered. But I don't think he would play, if he's really, like, in a position where he's going to be hampered like that. So if he plays, I'm more than likely going to play Kyler Murray. Now, Matt Ryan, if Julio Jones plays, I'm for sure playing Matt Ryan. If Julio Jones is not playing, I will very, very strongly consider Jared Goff over Matt Ryan. Jared Goff isn't necessarily the face of consistency, but without Julio Jones, Matt Ryan tends to struggle. So if Julio Jones is out, I will probably be playing Jared Goff over Matt Ryan. But as of now, those are my 2 quarterbacks. At running back, we're struggling right now. James Conner, tough matchup against Baltimore. I have to play him. And a decision to make here, Darrell, Henderson versus Melvin Gordon. So let's just take a look at what they've been doing lately. Henderson, 8 carries, bye week, 7 carries, 8 carries. He's got a couple catches here and there, nothing too crazy. Melvin Gordon, he wasn't getting a lot of volume either, but the last couple weeks, he's got 11 carries, 15 carries. He got in the end zone a couple times last week. No receptions, so the volume isn't great for either one. I'm going to go with Melvin Gordon, though. I don't really love it. The Saints are playing really well. But, I just like it. I just would rather play Melvin Gordon over that 3-headed committee for the Rams. Because I was saying, like, okay, I just need, like, barely over a point from Darrell Henderson to win. And he barely got that for me. So I just don't want to go through that again, right? At wide receiver, we have a couple other things to deal with here. So I'm for sure playing Tyreek Hill. And this is where we have some decisions to make. So I am going to be playing Allen Robinson. So I just have to figure out who to sit. I do want to play DJ Moore. I like him a little more than Amari Cooper, although I do like Amari Cooper as well. Like, this is not an anti-Amari Cooper thing. And the thing that's kind of making this kind of messy is Calvin Ridley being questionable. Also, if Calvin Ridley misses, that will also impact Matt Ryan tremendously. But yeah, we'll have to see how that plays out. But I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to bench Amari Cooper, put Allen Robinson in there, and I hope Calvin Ridley plays. If it comes out before the Dallas game that Calvin Ridley is like doubtful or questionable, I will bench Calvin Ridley and put Amari Cooper in there. But yeah, it's kind of annoying that Amari Cooper is playing so early in the week and got Allen Robinson in the night game, but this is kind of just like the best potential lineup that I'm thinking of. And then I believe I'm going to want to put Allen Robinson in the flex because he's playing the later game. So I want him in the flex, not the wide receiver spot. And then at tight end, I'm going with Evan Ingram against Cincinnati instead of Dalton Schultz or Jimmy Graham if I do pick him up. Zach Ertz could potentially be coming back. I think I would still just go with Evan Ingram, though. I mean, Ertz wasn't very good before the injury. He's coming back off an injury. I don't know. I don't really love either option, honestly. It's a little bit rough in this league right now. And then also, I do like Jalen Reagor this week. If I didn't have these type of wide receivers, I would definitely prefer to play Jalen, or I would want to fit Jalen Reagor into my lineup. He has a good matchup against Seattle, but it's just not going to work out in this league, I don't think. One thing I should note about that, though, is since I am benching Amari Cooper on Thursday, it is likely that Amari Cooper will have played, and I won't know the status of Calvin Ridley until closer to Sunday, right? If Calvin Ridley is ruled out on Saturday or Sunday, I won't have the option to pivot to Amari Cooper, right? Because he will have already played. So that is a scenario where Jalen Reagor might actually make my lineup. At this point, I think I would honestly rather play him over Darrell Henderson if I had to like make that decision. So if Calvin Ridley is out, I would probably just slide Jalen Reagor in for him, and I would feel pretty comfortable with that because, like I said, he has a pretty good matchup. So yeah, we got a lot of stuff going on with the wide receivers. In this league right here, this is a 10-team non-PPR, one quarterback league. This is last week's matchup. I picked up Kirk Cousins. He had a good game, but it just wasn't enough. I'm dealing with a ton of injuries in this league. We had a bye week last week with David Montgomery, so you can see the injuries I'm dealing with right now. We had Ingram and Montgomery on bye. McCaffrey, he's been injured all season. Carson was out. Brees out, Ertz out, Mostert out, Justin Jackson out. Like, it just never ends in this league. I am doing pretty well in this league somehow. I don't know how. And this was actually a pretty decent week for me, but you know, when you have to play Devontae Booker, that's not ideal, right? So yeah, enough looking at last week. This is this current week right here. This is a little preview of the matchup I'm going up against right here. He's got some nice wide receivers right there. Running backs are looking a little bit rough, but we'll see how that plays out for my opponent. And we're also going to make we're going to pick a player up in this video right here, right now as well. So these are the transactions I have made recently. I picked up Carlos Hyde once he was a free agent after waivers went through. I dropped Devontae Booker, especially because I have Chris Carson. Carlos Hyde is just more valuable to me than Devontae Booker. And I dropped the Washington football team defense for the New York Giants defense. Although I do like the Washington football team as a nice play on defense this week. They're playing Dallas. The Giants are playing Cincinnati. Joe Burrow got hurt. I think Cincinnati's offense is going to be a little bit more rough than Dallas's, so I just figured I would play the Giants. But it's pretty much a coin flip. I just give the slight edge to the Giants. But if you wanted to go with the Washington football team, I would not blame you. And here we are. We're going to take a look at the squad that we're rocking with here for week 12. So we're currently 7-4. We were first in the standings at 7-2 a couple weeks ago, but we've dropped all the way to 5th. And again, this is a 12-team league. Did I say a 12-team league earlier? I hope I did. If I said 10, that was a mistake. It's a 12-team league, non-PPR. So this is what we're looking at here. We got Lockett and Fuller locked in at wide receiver. At tight end, I'm going to be playing Hockenson over Evan Ingram or Ertz if he does come back. At running back, I'm going to be playing Chris Carson. I believe he should be back by Monday. We have a couple other decisions to make here, though. We got Kalen Ballage at running back, so then you have to decide between someone like David Montgomery at that running back spot. I think I'm going to go with Kalen Ballage. He is questionable, so if this injury becomes a problem, or I don't think Eckler's going to be back this week, but if that becomes a problem, I could just make the switch to Montgomery. I just believe Ballage has higher upside. Montgomery he just typically doesn't have good, like, very big games. Yeah, that's something to monitor. If I make any changes to my lineups that are different than what I show you in this video, I will put it in a comment down below. I'll put it in the description as well, so you guys are up to date on what I'm actually doing with my lineup after I post this video. So this is what it's looking like as of now. And then in the flex, here's another tough decision. Chase Claypool versus Chris Godwin. I like both of them this week, but I'm just going to stick with Chase Claypool, especially with Juju dealing with some sort of injury. I just can't go away from Chase Claypool right now. I mean, he's been hot. Chris Godwin, I do like this week. Even though it's not the best matchup on paper, I think this could be a back and forth game between, Tom Brady and Patrick Mahomes. So, yeah, it's tough. It really was a tough decision, but I'm going to go with Claypool. I'm not going to be surprised if I was wrong, and I am playing Chris Godwin in another league. We'll get to that here in a second. So yeah, I think that's pretty much what we have to deal with. And then obviously if Chris Carson if all the Sunday games go by, Carson is ruled out, I would just play Hyde. If Carson is ruled out before like the Sunday games, that is where I would consider sliding a guy like David Montgomery in there. Hopefully I don't have to make that decision and Carson just plays, but if that happens, I'll comment down below, like I said, what I end up doing. And then Raheem Mostert, I hear there's a chance that he plays. He's day-to-day right now. I think it's a tough matchup against the Rams. He's coming off of injury. I think I would just stick with Ballage as long as his injury isn't a concern. Again, I'll just have to comment it down below later, but as of this recording, I think I would just stick with Ballage. And we got Younghoe Koo at kicker, Giants at defense. Like I said, great matchup against Cincinnati with that Joe Burrow injury. Also, one more thing really quick. I mentioned a little bit ago that I was going to make a transaction in this video. Well, I recorded the whole video and I forgot to actually make the transaction while I was recording. So I'm just going to do it now and insert it into the video. And that transaction is going to be picking up quarterback Taysom Hill for the Saints against Denver. And I'm going to drop Kirk Cousins. I would rather play Taysom Hill this week. Take a quick look at the box score here. He had a very good start last week against Atlanta. That was his first start, and he did well. He offers some really nice production on the ground as a runner, and Kirk Cousins had a good week last week as well. I just would rather go with Taysom Hill this week, so I'm going to go ahead and add him to the squad, and I am going to be starting him this week. So now I am going to put him into my starting lineup, as I said, and since I am recording this after the initial recording, I think there's a few times when you will see this lineup again on the screen, and it'll say Kirk Cousins up here. Just know that I am starting Taysom Hill over Kirk Cousins. I just forgot to make that transaction while I was recording the video the first time. All right, we Gucci, let's go. Finally, we are moving on to this Dynasty League. This is a half PPR, 10-team league, one quarterback, couple flexes, as you can see. So this is last week's matchup. Where's last week's matchup? Here's last week's matchup right here. We also got very lucky in this league, just squeaked out a win. We won by a few points right there. We'll take a quick look at the box score. You see like Clyde Edwards-Helaire had a good game. Dallas Goedert had a good game. Godwin got in the end zone. Here's the benches right here, very deep benches. I did end up benching Jonathan Taylor. He actually had 22 carries, I believe it was. So his volume all of a sudden went up. You see, that was his second highest carry total of the season since week 2, especially over the previous 3 weeks, 11, 6, 7 carries after the bye week. It looked like he wasn't getting a lot of volume. He also had 4 receptions, so that was promising to see. So I think I'm going to slide him back into the lineup. Last week I did bench him. I ended up playing Connor, Sanders, and then in the flex spot, I played Gio and Clyde. So I should have played Jonathan Taylor over Gio, but Taylor didn't have like a crazy great game, but that volume is very, very promising, right? And this is the matchup coming into this week right here. You can see my opponent, he has to put someone in that flex spot, but this is the team that I'm going to be going against. There's a quick look at the bench. I don't want to spend too much time looking at the other team. If you want, you can pause it. He'll probably put Will Fuller in there, I'm assuming, or something like that. I hope he doesn't. That'd be great if he didn't, because I really do like Will Fuller this week. That's why it wasn't even a question between Claypool and Godwin, because to me, Fuller is pretty much an auto start. Not 100% of the time, but for most rosters, Fuller is pretty much going to play every week. And same with Tyler Lockett. So that's why I didn't bring them up in the conversation of Claypool versus Godwin. So yeah, let's go take a look at this current week now. Stop living in the past, am I right? So we have a tough decision to make here. Tom Brady, Matt Ryan, Cam Newton. I'm going to stick with Brady. It looks like there's showers. It's going to rain. If it comes out that it's going to be just like a tsunami, then maybe I'll pivot to Matt Ryan. But Matt Ryan, he's dealing with a couple injuries at the wide receiver spot. Neither offers a running floor, and Cam Newton does offer that running floor, but he's not been passing the ball well most games this season. So there's risk with everyone. I'm just going to stick with Tom Brady, a matchup against Mahomes. I'm hoping it's a high-scoring game. I do like Ryan this week, especially if he has Julio and Calvin Ridley. Wow, I forgot his name for a second there. But I'm just going to go with Brady. And then at running back, again, tough matchup. Like I mentioned earlier, James Conner. I'm just going to play him. Miles Sanders against Seattle. He's in the lineup. Clyde is in the flex. And actually, I would want to switch Miles Sanders and Clyde because Miles Sanders plays later. So I'm going to put Miles Sanders in the flex spot. Make sure you guys are doing that as well. Especially with all these Thanksgiving games, you want to make sure that you get your Thursday players out of the flex spot if possible. All right, so this week we are benching Giovanni Bernard, like I said. And actually, I think we're just going to go ahead and put in Jonathan Taylor. A couple other options we could consider in that flex spot. J.D. McKissick, Giovanni Bernard himself. J.D. McKissick, he's typically pretty involved in the passing game. Last week, nothing too crazy. He still had 8.4 points. Like he's safe. He's usually a safe guy to play. But I'm going to go with Jonathan Taylor. Giovanni Bernard, he's questionable right now. He had a concussion apparently. I'm worried about that offense without Joe Burrow. So like I said 3 times now, Jonathan Taylor is in my lineup here. So make sure, and here's another situation where I want to make sure that my earlier games are out of the flex spot, and my later games are in the flex spot. So there we go. Make sure that's looking all good. Bang, 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 bang. And again, I forgot to mention this. I know I said it again. I haven't mentioned it even once yet. This Pittsburgh-Baltimore game is in question. It got postponed from Thursday to Sunday. So if for whatever reason, I was pointing to the wrong thing, wasn't I? I meant to point to this if I didn't. This Baltimore-Pittsburgh game. If it gets canceled or something, you want to be aware of that. Luckily, it's not a night game. It will be at 12:15, so you should know before the noon games if that is canceled. So going back to this league right here, where's my actual lineup here? So yeah, here it is. Geez, sorry about that. This is a situation where if Claypool's game gets canceled, I would simply just slide in Chris Godwin, and that's super convenient because Godwin's game as of now is after that game anyway. So I will know before Godwin plays if Claypool's game is canceled. Going back to this league right here, the half PPR 2 quarterback league, if that game is canceled, I'm really going to struggle, but I would probably just have to put Darrell Henderson in for James Conner. That's really all I could do. That's kind of why I said earlier on in the video, I wish I would have, bid on Gus Edwards because it's a tough matchup, but, I'm assuming he's going to get the volume. So, yeah, that's kind of a situation to monitor this week. And then at wide receiver, we got 3 wide receiver spots. Hopkins is questionable. I'm going to play him if he plays. He has an illness right now. If he plays, I'm playing. Same with Kyler Murray in that other league. Amari Cooper, I'm playing Amari Cooper in this league. Like I said, with Andy Dalton back at quarterback, Amari Cooper is much, much more safe than when he was without Andy Dalton, right? So Washington's been pretty good against wide receivers, but I'm just going to play Amari Cooper. He's kind of like the top dog there. I think he'll get, a good number of receptions. Hopefully get in the end zone, but I think he's a decent play this week. And then Chris Godwin against Kansas City. Again, I like Godwin this week. It's just in that other league, I have other people that I like better. So those are the wide receivers I'm playing. Some other people I could consider would be like Mike Williams and Marvin Jones. I don't mind playing either of those guys this week. I think they're pretty similar, especially that they have a good chance at a touchdown, decent yardage. Probably not a lot of receptions typically based on what they typically do. They usually need like a big, end zone shot or something like that, but I think they could both deliver on that. But I'm just going to stick with these guys that I have in there this week. At tight end, we're deciding between Dallas Goedert, Dalton Schultz, Jonnu Smith, Trey Burton. I'm going to stick with Dallas Goedert. Even if Zach Ertz does come back, I'm just going to stick with him over, second place would be Jonnu Smith. I'm just going to stick with Goedert. And, just in case you haven't been watching my other videos in this league and you're not aware of the injuries we got going on, we have George Kittle and Courtland Sutton on IR, so we've had to deal with that this year. That's why, it's important to have depth, especially this year, not only counting the crazy injuries, but people, missing games with, COVID and stuff. So, yeah, Deebo Samuel's been injured all year, but we're getting by. We're piecing things together. Justin Jackson, we lost him. But, yeah, I think we're looking pretty good here heading into Week 12. I forgot to mention my spot in the standings in this league. So here I am. I'm currently 1, 2, 3, 4, 5th. It's a tight race, though. As you can see, lots of teams, 6 and 5, 5 and 6 right there. So this is a really, really big week for me in all my leagues. I'm right in the thick of it in pretty much all of them. So we have some much needed wins hopefully coming our way. I hope you guys, I hope your team delivers for you, and I hope you have a very good Thanksgiving if you're watching this before, the big day. If you're watching this after, I hope you had a great Thanksgiving, and I hope you have a great week 12 of the 2020 fantasy football season. Thank you guys for watching. I really hope this, helped you guys out a little bit. And yeah, appreciate you guys watching. I'll see you guys later. Peace out.